Well, good morning, friends. Stephen Benoon here with Israeli News Live, and I'm going to give it a few seconds here for more people to be able to join in. And also, I need to make sure the audio is working properly. So, can you guys confirm the audio is working properly? That would really be helpful there. Also, I'm hoping the streaming is working properly as well. The story this morning is very important, very serious. So I want to make sure that we're good to go now. Um, Sounds good. All right. I appreciate it, guys. I really do. Okay, great. That's good to know. Okay. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, not that we have good news. To begin with, when we say that President Biden is the President of the United States, we already know that. I had just gotten a message from a friend of mine in FEMA asking about President Biden, what was his condition, and did he have cancer, that type thing there. And I was unaware that there was actually anything circulating on the internet about President Biden to begin with, as far as him being sick. So first off, let's deal with President Biden. President Biden has actually contracted COVID, or some form of COVID, something of that effect there. He is extremely sick. And actually, some of this information is coming in from a friend of mine in the Secret Space program. He is a Marine that had also sent in a message early this morning about this. So, but Biden, to my shock, I found out that Biden has actually really did take the vaccines. He's done the boosters. You know, most of the time we hear about people like politicians and stuff, and that they get placebos. I know Trump did a placebo. He didn't do the real deal. But Biden, as I was told this morning, was very convinced that, that indeed he believed in the vaccine. I guess when you're dealing with dementia, you can be easily persuaded to pretty much anything. So he has taken all the vaccines, and yet none of that has helped him, as we already know. But he is very sick, and as a result, and I don't know, as far as even going into this information here, this may be a video that I can't keep up here. I may have to revert back over to YouTube. But the point is, the president is sick, and there is a tremendous amount of concern in Washington as to whether he's going to recover from this. The team is already now briefing Kamala Harris on taking President Biden's place. I know this for a fact. I know yesterday Kamala was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she is being brought up to speed in the event that the president does not for some reason, becomes incapacitated and is no longer able to run the nation. The difficult situation is that no matter how bad Biden could be as a president, it will be worse with Kamala. She's just really not presidential candidate type material. And I have heard this from people way up in power there, that it'll be worse. And if you guys remember, I already shared with you how that Hillary Clinton and her got into a spat there at the White House. This was last year, and I actually know somebody that was standing there at the White House when that spat took place. And Kamala fully expected that she may end up becoming president of the United States, and I'm sure she is, because she looks at the condition of Biden and knows that at his age and with him obviously suffering signs of dementia, although there's no official diagnosis ever made known to the public. If you know anybody with dementia, it's pretty obvious of the signs there. And so she has already anticipated that she would become president, more than likely, during this next 4 years. And so there was an issue that came up because she was wanting to do things her way. And Hillary Clinton was there at the White House at the time, and they got into an argument. And Hillary made it quite clear to Kamala that she doesn't know how things are ran in Washington. So, in other words, it doesn't matter if she became president, you don't run the country. And in fact, since Biden has been president, we know that on a daily basis, President Biden speaks to Hillary Clinton on the phone. Nearly daily, I should say. And so this is how the country is actually ran. But now Kamala is being prepped. Somebody just put on there a message here that she's in Canada. She could be. Yesterday she was not. I can tell you that for a fact. So she's getting ready to take those reins if something goes south. Now, do keep in mind, we don't know 100% that this will happen. So I do need to make sure that we're aware of this. Although the president is very sick right now, it's not known what his prognosis will be. It's just that the government is preparing for worst case scenario. And so we'll have to wait to see how this ends up going. But as of right now, they're preparing for that worst case scenario that he may not pull through. And I know that they have him on, I don't know what medication that they have him on treating this, but I could only say that if it is the protocol, that wouldn't be good in the first place either. But maybe not. After all, he is the president, and for better or for worse, I'm sure they're going to try to make sure this goes the way they want it to go. Well, Brenda, if I do the sound up, that means I gotta talk louder. Okay. So, I was actually trying to find my headphones because you guys said the audio was so much better with headphones the other day. So I was actually trying to find them to actually do this broadcast. And listen, I'm going to take those and I'm going to switch over real quick. And I'm going to do audio and do everything through the computer versus my phone here. But I wanted to be able to get this story out for you guys so you know what's going on. Because I know this is going to go viral very soon, especially if it ends up happening. And I see that, Brenda. Brenda, I'm sorry, sis. I can't get that sound any louder. That's just as loud as I can talk. But everybody else, I think what it is with Brenda, it may be that the sister, she might be using her phone or something. And I do know that when you're using smart devices, sometimes the sound is harder to come through good. So I apologize for that. But listen, I'm going to go back over this whole issue here on iConnect. We'll hook it up into YouTube. I have to because we're going to be talking about some things that certain censorship won't like. So I kind of have to be careful about that. I'm going to be doing Patreon videos today. I'm actually here. Somebody asked me if I was in Dallas. No, I'm actually not in Dallas. I'm in another city here. We are going to be doing conferences in the very near future. So we're going to be doing another trip across the United States. The main things I've been dealing with here is doing some very deep meetings with I just can't go into all of that, but you kind of know I'm going to be sharing a lot of that with you on Patreon. So I can't wait to get a lot of that information out to you today. That's what I'm going to be working on, trying to get some of those videos out, as well as here on iConnect. I'm going to be talking to you about Ukraine, what's going on in Ukraine. You're going to get an update on that. I'll actually be getting 2 updates on Ukraine. We are looking at pulling troops out of Ukraine. That is an ongoing conversation in D.C. right now. is us pulling our troops out of Ukraine. So I'll update you on that as well. But anyway, again, those of you that might be joining us just now, hey, Miriam, God bless you, sister. That's a precious sister right there, by the way. I just want you guys to know that, what was I going to tell you? Gosh, I lost my train of thought there. I don't know. Anyway, hope it's not dementia. Just kidding, you guys. There's a lot of things, though. A lot of things I want to be able to share with you, but there's a lot of things going to be coming out here today, whether I do it on YouTube or do it on iConnect. But I will be getting out as much as I can today, because I'm just kind of locked away today to where I can get caught up. Finally got in a place where I can kind of sit down, share things with you, and just really bring you up to speed on things that are happening. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Just for those that might be joining us right now, because I keep seeing a lot of people joining in live here today. So if you're just now joining, it is important to know that the president, right now, President Biden, he is very sick. I have been told he has been diagnosed with COVID. He's not doing well. There is a lot of concern in Washington as to whether or not he's going to pull out or not. So as a safety measure, they have been bringing Kamala Harris, who is the vice president, up to speed to take his place. And when they're doing that, there's concerns. So that is something that has been going on right now. And so I'm very much in tuned on that. This has actually been confirmed from 2 different sources that I have on this, that indeed this is actually happening. And I will keep you up to date as the time goes on, and to see how that's going to go. But Kamala Harris could very well become the next president of the United States. And as I was told as well, that is definitely not good. And it's not, I will tell you this here, and this is not an individual that's a fan of Kamala Harris by no stretch of the imagination. But as they put it to me, they said she's actually a nice lady, as far as that. But she's just really not presidential material. So you can imagine you have a nice person in the White House, but they don't really have the capability of running the nation as a president. This is where people in Washington that have to deal with those issues on a daily basis, somebody put on there, a serpent worshiper. I know what kind of road we go down with that one right there. I have been told, though, that Hillary and her have a little bit of the same background as far as which side, so we won't get into that issue right now, but yeah, I know what you mean. But anyway, so all right, God bless you. I see you're kind of looking at comments haphazardly here as we're doing this. Oh gosh, you guys, y'all are so funny, some of the comments that you make. I'll get beat up for the nice person part, right? I'm not the one that said it. I'm just telling you what I've been told. But like I said, even the person says that they're a nice person definitely does not want them being president of the United States. And didn't want Biden being president of the United States. I can tell you that too. It's just simply, as the statement was made, is that we would be better off with Biden as president than we would with Kamala. That's the seriousness of that. That if you have a power shift like this, it could be very bad. I don't know how much worse it can get. We've already got enough stuff going on, right? So anyway, all right, God bless you guys. Let me get back to work here so I can get some more things out here. I'm probably going to be doing Patreon next there. I've got some notes here I've got to review. I did share some of that with you guys yesterday live, but I need to review some other things as well. So God bless you. Thank you for listening. Stephen Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live.